Good morning. Is it live? There we go. Okay, good morning. Good morning. Today is Wednesday, December 20th, 2023. This is Department of Career Services, where our goal is simple. It's to help you get from where you are to someplace better. Looks like there's a shadow. What's new? What's new? Okay, to help you get from where you are to someplace better, from point A to point B. Good morning, Wadabebi. From point A to point B, from Someday Isle to Successlandia. That's our goal, to help you do that. That's it. Nothing special. No big deal. Just kind of like the most important thing in life, to maximize this journey that we have, to enjoy the opportunities given to us, to take the opportunity before us, etc. So, and we are not going to really talk much about what the podcast is. It's in the description down below. The basic podcast is in the description down below. I now have the book, State Pen Workbook, novum-u. I now have that. So that the link to that is down below too. So kind of gathering my thoughts, because I'm thinking we're going to really focus on a laser focus on a bit of information, a tool that can be used today. And instead of saying, here's the toolbox down below with instructions, use it, we're going to say, here's the toolbox down below with the instructions on how to use it, but we're going to focus on one tool. We're going to spend about 10 minutes focusing on one tool. And if you can eternalize that and then go use the tool, now you have the ability to develop competence and then confidence. Okay, so there's a book bag back there that has a reflective tape. I'll deal with that later. Good cup of coffee. So this is day 2 at the ranch. I'm going to call it the Theophilus Ministries, day 2. Well, night 2. I spent night 2 here, getting things moved in comfortable. This is day, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Day 5 for Catherine. So got to keep that in mind. Let's start with our breathing exercise. We're going to do that. And on 3, 2, 1, exhale. Good. Okay, my goal for today, this morning we have our Wednesday morning volunteers breakfast. My goal for today is to get the Peloton set up somewhere. And preferably not in here. Not really room for it currently as this room is configured. But we'll see, because I got to get it somewhere. It's got to go somewhere. Can't be riding around the back of my car. Okay, so on to planning. The theme of today is there's always a solution. We're going to spend time talking about that. But Just want to quickly go over advice from an 80-year-old. Loosen up, relax. Except for rare life and death matters, nothing is as important as it first seems. Okay, step back, take a breath. Again, the meme for today is there's always a solution. Okay, things might look hopeless, but there's always a solution. I guarantee you that 100% of the things in your life that you thought were going to end it, you overcame it. How do I know? Because you're still here. Aha. Let's see. Today's video on our 4-week course is Simon Sinek talking about people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. So in this week 3, getting people under the heading of power, the true definition of power, which is just getting other people to do what you want. In the military, it's called leadership. In business, it's called management. But in the real world of men and machines, it's called power, getting people to do what you want. And power is like a hammer. A hammer can be used to make things. A hammer can be used to break things. It's easier to use a hammer to break things. You have to learn how to use it to make things. So same thing with power. Power can be used. You can do things to get people to do what you want in a negative way. It's like the dark side of the force. You can use power to get people to do things in a positive way. For example, motivation is a positive way to get people to do things. Reward is a positive way to get people to do things. On the negative side, you have threats, coercion, intimidation, extortion, manipulation. All of those are negative uses of power. We focus on the positive uses of power, motivation, and the ultimate is self-motivation. If you can get people to wind themselves up, they'll just keep going. Like what? Like religion. If you can get people to take the sacred scriptures, read it, and then internalize it, they will continue to wind themselves up and not only do it, but they'll go get other people to do it too. So that's an example of self-motivation. That's this week. That's week 3. How do you get people on your boat? How do you get people to help you? Because you can't do it alone. No one can do it alone. The wealthiest people in the world are the people who have the most other people doing things for them. What does Elon Musk have people doing? Well, he has people making things, but he also has people buying things. Like what? Like batteries, like cars, all kinds of other stuff, projects he's working on. So you need to get people to do what you want them to do. Power. And focus on the positive. So Monday we got David Logan, join tribe, nudge forward. Join a tribe. What's a tribe? Tribe is a group of people that have common interest to you. Each of us are in many, many, many tribes. We have our church tribe, our school tribe, our kids' school tribe, our Monday night football tribe. We're in a lot of different tribes. Our church tribe. We're in a lot of different tribes. So Dave Logan says, join a tribe, nudge it forward. Okay, so how do you nudge? Well, Seth Godin told us how to nudge. There's 4 steps. Find something to change. Find part of the status quo to change. So you join a tribe. Hey, what's going on here? What can we do to make it better? Okay, find part of the status quo to change. 2, tell a compelling story. 3, connect the true believers and ignore the non-believers. Don't argue with them. Don't put energy into them. Just take an attitude of, oh, that's what you believe. Okay, cool, great. Good on you, mate. And forward lead them. So the question deriving from that is, well, how do you tell a compelling story? And that is what Simon Sinek is talking about today. How do you tell a compelling story? And the story is about why. It's not about what. It's not about how. It's not what we're going to do. It's not how we're going to do it. It's why we're going to do it. Why are we going to change the status quo? Because Simon Sinek makes clear people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Great video, it'll change your life. It's one of the top TED Talk videos of all time. All right, but let's go to our theme. We are now 10 minutes in. We'll go to our theme. And the theme is there's always a solution. A lot of people know there are people doing research on the differences in people who grow up in the inner city versus in families that are middle class and above. Because there are patterns. If you step back and look at the patterns, there are more people who start out life in a tough situation who end up in a tough situation than people who start out in a non-tough situation that end up in a tough situation. So, and the idea is, well, what can we do to change that? So there are people doing research, and it's not really publicized because the results are pretty devastating for the people who grow up in inner cities. Pretty not good, because as our brain develops and starts pairing off the things, again, as Jordan Peterson says, when you're young, you have the ability to be anything, but you're nothing. And as you age, you start refining what you can be. And once you kind of have that, here's what I can be, you can't really, it's really, really hard to change that by a lot. Rarely happens. It takes a lot of energy to do that. So the idea would be, how do we have an impact before everything gets pared down, before we chip away the jade, because we can't put the jade back. Once it's chipped away from the block, once we chip it away, we can't put it back. It's really hard. So one of the things that turns out is if you are born in a family of influence and education, you tend to have an attitude that there's always a solution. We have to look at it differently. We have to try different things. We have to keep going. We have to stop doing what we're doing. There's a lot of different things to do, but the fundamental belief is there's always a solution. We just got to find it. We've got to be smart enough to find the solution, because if somebody else can find a solution, we can find a solution, because that's how it works. It's opportunity. It's mostly opportunity. There's a lot of other things, but there's a lot of opportunity in here. So if I'm smart, if I'm diligent, if I'm disciplined, if I'm focused, I can find a solution to any problem. How? Well, one thing is I can break it down. Okay. On the other hand, people who grow up in not good situations tend to believe that there's never a solution, that it's pointless, it's worthless, nothing is really going to change. Life sucks and it's always going to suck. So what I would say is, if you're one of the people in the Life Sucks group, the first thing would be, what do I think? Do I think there's always a solution? Do I think it doesn't really matter? It's going to suck anyway. And if I say it's going to suck anyway, then I can say, well, but you know what? There are other people who believe something different. And that belief, that belief that there's a solution drives them to find a solution, right? Because if you don't think there's a solution, what's the point of looking for one? And so if you say, well, I believe there's not a solution, it's futile. Somebody's going to, bam, crush me. Well, but maybe that's just a belief. Maybe I can pretend I'm like the people on the other side and think there's always a solution and work at finding the solution. Start from a positive mindset. There's always a solution. I'm going to find it. So here we are at 15 minutes in, that's about enough for that. But think about that today. Go through the day, think about which am I? Am I the kind of person that believes there's always a solution? Or am I the person that doesn't believe there's always a solution? So we don't have to change the thing. There's either always a solution or there's not always a solution. There's always a solution is a true statement, or there's always a solution is not a true statement. Now, when we say there's always a solution, it follows a normal distribution. Yes, there are some things that there are no solutions to, like how to live forever. Okay, we're not talking about the extremes. We're talking about the norm, you know, take off the extremes, take off the outliers. There's always a solution to most problems. Yes, there are ultimately some problems that there is no solution, and there are some problems that are always solved. We're talking about the ones that may or may not be solved based upon the energy and time, et cetera, that you put into them. So I would say start the day asking yourself the question, where am I on this scale of solution, no solution? And if I'm on the end of the spectrum of there's not really a solution, or if it's not an easy solution, it's not worth doing, maybe change my attitude, take my beliefs, set them aside, say that's a belief I have. Let me try a different belief. Let me just try this on for size. I can always go back to my old belief because I just set it down over there. But I'm going to take a good faith effort, have a new belief. Anyway, that's 1639 in. We're going to say what up. We're going to say what a bevy and move on. But thank you for being here. Come back every day, share, etc. Make disciples of all people. Help others. Good karma. And cut.